comedian, musician, producer, actor, you name it, he does it. Chico Bean now joining us here in studio. He'll be performing at MGM Northfield Park tomorrow night is the show. We've been giving away tickets to that show. It's going to be a great time. And he was kind enough not only to join us to talk about the show and his career, but to come down to studio and join us. He's here with us now. Chico, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you not only stopping by the show, but actually coming down to the studio. Really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it was a very unique drive. I'll say that. It was a very unique drive. I came in from Cleveland. I was like, am I going to a radio station or back in time? Like this. It was very strange, but I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here with you guys.
I said to him, I'm like, did you find it easy? We're pretty easy to find because we're off the highway a little bit. I said, it's a little odd that we're in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, when I pulled up,
field.
I pulled up and I was like, I hope this is where I'm supposed to be going. Because when I walked in and seen those 3 pictures of those white men on the wall, I was like, uh-oh.
It's like a Scooby-Doo
episode.
Yeah,
I was like, uh-oh, I don't know if this is the right place, but I'm here now. So
you're like, this is how horror movies start, man. This is not good at all, man. No, a pleasure to have you here. Wild N Out, legendary show you're a part of. Again, while we're here talking with you, I definitely want to talk also while we're here about 85 South comedy show that you and your friends have from Wild N Out, man. Your career's been incredible, what you've done and what you've accomplished. And I've been so. First of all, congratulations on all the success.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, every time because we have a comedy place out here in Massillon that we talk to comedians a lot when they come to town here. And I'm always interested, like, what makes someone decide to try comedy? Because I always say, everyone thinks they're funny. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks they're funny, but when you discover, like, wow, I think
other people think I'm
funny. A lot of people say, I think I want to do that. But then they do it and they go, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. You were someone who did it and found your niche almost immediately, I assume. So what was it that drew you to comedy? And when is it you knew, like, whoa, I can really do this?
Honestly, it was the impending poverty that I was ready to face, honestly, because I graduated from college and I went to get a job and they told me that I would be making like $6.25 an hour part-time where I did my internship at. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be poor and struggling, I'd much rather be poor and struggling doing something that I want to do, building my own legacy than helping somebody else build theirs and hoping they recognize my worth. So I had no idea that I was going to be a comedian. I just, was kind of floating, seeing what was working, something that I could do, because I've always been really, really independent. So a friend of mine named Jerome was like, man, you should do comedy, because I had hosted all of the stuff in my college, all of the step shows, and I was real active, didn't have stage fright and all that. So it was an open mic night at the Greensboro Comedy Zone in Greensboro, North Carolina. And first and second Thursday of the month. So I went the first Thursday and watched everybody bomb. I was like, well, I can at least do this bad. And I went back the next week and it was 4 minutes. And I got on stage and did my 4 minutes. And literally when my feet hit the floor, when I got off stage, I said, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been doing it ever since. And that was August the 12th, 2008.
Wow.
And look at you now, man. That is
16
fantastic.
years later.
Yeah. I'm glad you can do math, because if you'd asked me, you'd asked me to count that number, I'd have embarrassed myself up here.
No, I was also like, wow, that's a good number of years. I'm
exactly.
not going to figure that out. But
the only reason that I did it, because you know how bad at math I am, is because my son was born in 08 and he's 16. Okay. That was an easy math.
Yeah, my daughter was born in 08 and I still wouldn't have got it right. So good for you.
So is it like a high when you're up there and you're doing comedy and entertaining people and you can see them laughing, having a great time?
It's a blessing, because you really are giving the world your perspective and you never know how it's going to be received. So, you want people to have a good time, but the parts of comedy that always make me feel like nostalgic or feel great about what I do is not even the laughs, it's the silence. The silence is more, just impactful to me, because that means that you have the ears of all of those people there waiting to see what you say next. Yeah. And, if you can get that silence in between jokes, it's like, for me, that's a pocket that most comedians don't find in, doing it, because when you're doing it, you're just so caught up on trying to get the laughs when you're not realizing that people paying attention is the part that is, that they're going to leave the most with, what I'm saying? In my opinion, when people leave and you get that pocket of silence in between and they're just like looking at you to see what's next, that means you've made an impact in whatever amount of time that you've been on stage and people are really geared into what it is you're talking about. So I think that's the best part for me.
That's awesome. You know what? We've talked to a lot of comedians just because we've had, we do stuff with Crackpots and all that kind of stuff. Plus we've had like Bert Kreischer, because the Hall of
Bert
Fame.
is my guy.
Yeah, they bring
Bert.
Everyone loves
comedians.
Bert Kreischer. What is it about that guy that everyone? I mean, we had him. He was amazing. But why does everyone love that guy so much?
I mean, for me, I just find it amazing that a human being can get away with all of the stuff that he gets away with without going to prison. Like,
true.
you know, as a black man in America, like I hear some of these stories and I'd be like, man, ain't no way somebody like me would have been able to get away with half of that. Like, I truly believe that Bert would have been able to storm the Capitol and not go to jail. I think he would have been one of the only people that could have went up in there and they'd have been like, you know what, everybody else, you're horrible, you're not good Americans, but that guy, go ahead home, man.
Yeah.
Tell a story. So Bert is my guy.
Go home,
Yeah, Bert, go home, Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so funny. Yeah, but when I was saying, like, they don't, we've heard all of these things, but what he's talking about, that pocket of silence, I never really thought about that before, because then that just means you got him.
Yeah,
you 100%.
Yeah, you 100% got him. Like that moment when, you know, after the laugh stops and then everybody's kind of geared into you and locked into you.
They cannot wait for what you
and
got.
what you got to say next.
Yeah.
That means that everybody is, you know, locked into whatever message you're giving on stage. And that's something that I think that is very, very important as a comedian, because, you know, we really are the narrators of the world that we live in. You know, we use comedy to do it, but we're really giving perspective and making people laugh at the reality of the world that we live in. So that silence, when people are paying attention, that really gears me up more than anything else.
Yeah.
That is awesome. We're talking to Chico Bean, performing at MGM Northfield Park, coming up tomorrow night. Get your tickets. Go there. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break, Chico. When we come back, I want to get into Wild N Out, and I want to get in, obviously, to the hilarious 85 South show that you guys put on. I want to get into that, how these things came to be and how hilarious they are. So looking forward to keeping the talk going with you, Chico. Again, thank you so much for stopping by for a little bit today.
No, man, no problem, man. This is definitely a bucket list. I know that my trajectory never saw me in the building like this, but I am here and I am checking this off as I made it. I guarantee you this is going on the list of places that I've been that you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that I've accomplished in my career. Yeah, I came to a haunted house in Ohio
with microphones.
That's
microphones.
Legit, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with more Chico Bean here. It's Q92. All right, continuing our conversation here with Chico Bean, comedian's going to be here. MGM Northfield Park tomorrow night. If you haven't gotten your tickets for that show, go and get them now. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. We were asking Chico off air. Chico, we were talking to you because it was kind of a topic before. We said we're going to ask you about when you're doing a show at a casino. Do you ever take advantage? Then we're having our listeners tell us their biggest wins or failures at casinos. And there were some people with some big failures
and some big wins
and big wins in the casino. So like I said, MGM Northfield, are you going to check any of that out while you're there? Or is that
no, I learned my lesson the last time. I perform at casinos all the time. I was recently at the Venetian in Vegas and lost all my money. And well, I didn't lose all my money. I lost all the money I had. And it's not a great feeling, man. That feeling when you got to, like, I went in my pocket to get some more money out and pulled out a valet ticket. And that was all I had was the valet ticket. I was like, I put the car on the table. You can have it. It's not mine anyway. Once you get to that point, you got to get out of there. But before we go, I just want to give a shout out to the Peterson family, right? That's the Peterson family. The Peterson family. Just want to say I'm down with y'all as long as I'm in town. I heard you guys own everything. So I just want to say that as long as I am here, my name is Chico Peterson. And I just want to let everybody know that I'm officially a family member as long as I am in this part of Ohio.
There you go.
I love it. You're always a part of our family,
There's
Chico.
nothing better. All right, let's talk about Wild N Out. Now, you were part of, when Wild N Out resurged and became what it became with Nick Cannon. How did you become involved with it and to become such a prominent star on it?
I auditioned. It was an audition process, and I probably was one of the only people that had to audition like 4 times, because a friend of mine who went to college with me named Dolly Bishop, who is now the president of the iHeart, the Black Effect Podcast Network with Charlamagne the God. She was Nick Cannon's assistant at the time. Wow. And we went to college together, and she had introduced us for me to do a comedy show 2 years prior to him bringing the show back, and he was a fan of what I did. And when the show came back, when he announced that he was bringing it back, I got an audition opportunity. So I auditioned in Charlotte, which was just like a mock audition that he was doing just for the radio show that he had at the time. And I did so well that he actually gave me a real audition. So I had to fly out to New York twice to do those auditions. And then we did the group audition and I made the show. That's how I got on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And how much fun was that for you to do? I mean, lifelong friends you have from
Yeah. And it's still going on, man. It's a blessing. 23 seasons. I came in on season 5. I'm one of the few that's still left. I think the only ones that are still left from the original inception of myself, Carlos, Conceited, and Emmanuel Hudson. We're the only 4 that are left from season 5 when the show initially came back. So just to be a part of something that has been it's a generational show. It's our generations in living color as far as what the talent that produced, the opportunities that we've gotten from the show, just it being on for so long. Like I just did a college yesterday and or day before yesterday, and the kids were coming up, man, I grew up watching you. And, these are people that are, 19, 20 years old, but to be on something that has been on TV for that long and still continues to run, it has its own channel now, and so just to be able to be a part of something that I know will, live on forever is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And Nick Cannon, like what a mogul he is, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And what does he like to work for?
He's great, man. I can't say anything negative about Nick. The great part about Nick that I always say is that, a lot of people who give you opportunities will give you the opportunity and send you out and just let you do whatever it is you're going to do. But very few people give you the opportunity and stand next to you while they give it to you and allow you to be able to utilize everything that they're doing to help further yourself. And that's what Nick did, making himself a part of the show. Like him being on the show gave us something to always talk about as far as content when we're doing the jokes, because his life, he's been a star the entire time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, from the Mariah to the him going with the turbans to having all the kids, whatever it is that Nick is doing is always a subject matter that we can draw off, and he never limits us from talking about what he has going on. So it just creates an environment where you are able to flourish as a comedian and as an entertainer, because the person who's responsible for all of us being in that space allows you to be, a co-worker instead of a employee, if you will.
Right. No.
Yeah, and you'd think with that, sometimes you think someone that famous, that big, that powerful, you would be like, hey, I don't get the jokes don't come.
I don't want
to
be the butt of the joke.
But you're right.
Part
like,
of it.
He's like, go ahead. He wants it. He wants
because
everyone to succeed.
It helps further the show. It helps make the show great. When people watch it, that's what they're expecting to see. And a lot of times, people will come in, celebrities will come in and tell you not to say anything about them in certain capacities. And that takes away from the element of what the show is, because, if you see a certain celebrity and they have something going on, that's what people are tuning in to see what jokes are going to be made. And so Nick never limits himself from having that happen. You know what I mean? From his music, whatever the jokes are that we always tell, it's been great. And it was smart because him allowing us to do that with him elevated us to the point where now when we come in, he can talk about us because we're stars now too. So it's a blessing. It was a blessing.
That's awesome. It boggles my mind. Like we were talking about this off air, like when it comes to freestyle, like nothing is scripted.
Wild N Out is a little different. Wild N Out, they have some people who do have, they practice and script and they go over certain things over and over again. Then you have a certain group of people that don't need that. There's a very, very small core group of people who can just come out raw and just go, you know what I mean? And that's what makes the show so great, because even if you have the people who are scripted, you still have that element of you never know what's going to happen with that certain group of people. So as long as we're in pocket, then you always get that. Now with 85 South, 85 South is we've never practiced one time. I think it'd be kind of unfair if we had a rehearsal, because everything that we do is off the dome. Like we literally have never, ever, ever had one rehearsal since we've been doing the show. We're coming up on 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Actually in December, next month, our show in Atlanta will be our 10-year anniversary. And we literally have never had a rehearsal or a sound check, nothing. Sometimes we don't see each other until we're about to go on stage. And that's the blessing of what that show is, because we know we struck lightning in a bottle, because, you never can fail when you have two people on the side of you that, one, that you're fans of, and two, that you can bounce off. That there's never a time where anything that I may be weak at, Fly and Los got. Anything that Fly and Los may be weak at, me and Fly got. It's just that dynamic, and it's a blessing to be able to do the things that we do without any practice.
I think that's incredible that you three have the ability to do that, to go up
it's
there
an art.
With no script and riff, and just let the jokes or whatever is coming through come to you. And I mean, I know you go all over the country, and I just happened a couple days ago, I was watching the one in Boston where you guys were going at Tom Brady to start off the show. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you guys come out guns blazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we gonna do it because that's the element of that's what makes the show special. That makes the show special is that when people come, they know that one, we talk about each other all the time. So we're going to talk about the crowd. We're going to talk about whatever's going on in your town. We're going to talk about the town. We're going to talk about whatever it is that is, prevalent to the moment that we feel when we get on stage. So you can't beat that. Sometimes we watch it back and are amazed that like, where did that come from? Like we look at stuff and we have no idea that we're going to do any of it. So when we look back at it, we're just as amazed as the people are because we like, man, listen, I don't know where that came from, but thank God for giving it to us because it's classic comedy.
Yeah,
awesome.
and a lot of the clips from your guys' tour, you always see them up on YouTube or when you're scrolling on TikTok, you're going to see the clips. I told you, I'll never forget the clip I saw, especially for the first time. I was bowled over laughing when you guys were talking to the one, and I can't obviously on the radio say what the guy said, but you're talking to the security guard and you were having some fun with him and he was a great sport about it.
Yeah.
You put the mic down and go, "What's your name, sir?"
Yeah. His name was Richard. So you can just utilize whatever you want in your mind to know what he tell me. And the whole crowd went crazy. Went crazy. I know he got some coochie that night. I don't know if you can say that on the radio. Sorry, Peterson family. I'm sorry, Peterson family. We don't want to get the FAA.
No. But I mean, that's the cool stuff. Like you guys bring it out there every night, but there might be a night a security guard or someone in the audience gives you gold. You know?
You can't beat it, man. And that's the thing. We always just let it happen the way it naturally happens. There's never a time when we like, okay, there's somebody right there. Make sure we say something about them. We are blind to whatever. When we walk on stage, the show starts.
Now here's the question, Chico. What do you do when you're doing the show and you get someone and you realize quickly that maybe they're not the best sport? You know what I mean? It has to happen occasionally.
Yeah, it happens, but hey, sucks to be you.
I was gonna say they roll with it. They don't
sucks
care.
To be you. You should. Hey, so what? You don't get a pass. Don't care how that you mad that you shouldn't have wore that shirt. Don't be mad at us for recognizing what you should have recognized before you left the house, sir.
Now, does that actually make you three want to turn it up a little bit more?
Yeah. That's of course. You know what I mean? I'm like the same way at my shows. When I do my independent shows and I'm talking to somebody and they act like they have an attitude. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, you really gonna be mad now. You don't get to come to my show and tell me who I can and can't talk to, sir. You know what I mean? So it's not malicious. That's the part that I think makes it different than, some people who are just offensive. People know that we're not being malicious. We didn't intend to pick on you. You're just who we saw, or you're just who I saw tonight. Like there's no malicious intent in it. And again, we're not off limits either. We have let people come on stage and talk about us. People yell stuff at us. People do all types of stuff, and we just take it because it's a natural element of what we do as comedians amongst our team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And individually, we all do this by ourselves. So when we come together, it's just like you forming like Voltron, and it's, something like you've never seen before. So you get the element of like what people are going to see tomorrow when they come see me at the Northfield, MGM Northfield. You get that element, and you get a whole nother show. And then if you come to an 85 South show, you get a whole nother show. And if you come to one of the package tours that we on, like the We Done Ones that we did last year with Mike Epps, you get a whole nother show. So I just thank God for the ability to be able to have the multitude of talent that I have to be able to navigate all of these different things, because you can, really fall victim to burnout when you do as much as we do. But, with the blessings that we get, you get to really see how great, you can be if you just trust your gift and trust the fact that you got God on your side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're listening right now, again, his show is tomorrow night at MGM Northfield Park. Showtime's at 8:00. There are tickets available. You can go and get yours at livenation.com and make sure that you check out the show, and make sure you be careful what you wear to a show.
Oh yeah, no, you can wear what you want to wear. Wear what you want to wear. No, I'm not picking on you, because if you pick that, then that's your pick. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. I don't like that. I don't like that I get that stigma. This lovely lady came out into the hallway and she was like, "Hey, excuse me. I got stitches in my face. Don't pick on me." I'm like, man, why would I pick on somebody who has a $1.50? You are a gangster. You've been to jail, man. I'm not messing with you. You have survived a shank attack. I am good. There was no problem.
I love him. He's awesome.
Chico, before I let you go, too, I just think it's comedy is, I feel, is so needed right now in this country.
Oh,
like,
yeah. You gonna do it? Let's do it.
I mean, it's just
gonna ask about it?
No, it's just, I don't want to.
No, go ahead. I'm with it. You know, man.
All I'm saying is that it's just, I thank God for comedy, because comedy to me is therapy, is release for me when I can sit and forget about this crazy ass mad world we're in right now.
Well, everybody takes themselves too seriously.
Yeah, and here's stories that I go, oh my God, that's happened to me, or oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even think that the world is crazy now, man. To be honest with you, like, I grew up in the 90s. The 90s were way crazier than today. I just think that the fact that we have a 15 to 60 second news cycle that we get to constantly consume information makes us feel like everything is elevated. But the reality is, it was way more dangerous when you would have to use payphones. Like, do you think about the reality of what we had to do naturally as young people growing up in the 90s versus today? Like, it's just, it's not to say, people talking about the election that just happened, you know what I mean, and how, you know, everybody's so divided on it. But if you don't remember Bush Gore, then you can't tell me about how crazy an election could be.
That's
the
true.
recount,
I think
nothing beats the recount. Do you remember the recount?
There was a lot of stuff.
That election lasted till like Christmas. That was
true.
That was way more treacherous. Like, we really didn't know who the president was going to be, and George Bush and them was like, nope, do it again. Count it again. I don't care what they said. Count it again.
That is a good point. It's funny how it's not that long ago, but you feel like that's long. You're right. Like, we were going on for like 2 months, like a month or over a month.
Over a month.
We did not know who the president was.
We did not know who the president was going to be, and George Bush and them kept getting on TV saying, nope, count it again. And remember, it was his brother's Florida ballots that ended up making a difference. Do you know how crazy that is when you trying to get to be the president and then your brother is the one that gets the dick? Like, we knew who was going to win once his brother was like, hey, baby, we going to count them one more time. Yeah, we found some more ballots in the alligator mouth. We don't know how we got them out of there, but we got them. That's like 15 more votes for Bush. So this election wasn't even that crazy, man. I just think that people get so caught up in the ability to consume the information. You don't have to get up and go to the library to be smart anymore. Yeah. So now when you pull your phone out, you feel like you're a part of something, when in reality, this has been going on for, the entire time that we've been here, and will continue to go on when we're gone. So I don't let it affect me in the way that it affects most people.
That's awesome perspective, man. Yeah. That is awesome. Chico, man, it's been a lot of fun. And I really appreciate you coming down.
Thank you.
You could have done a phone in, you know what I mean? You could have joined us on video, but you stopped down.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that I stopped down too, because now I'm a Peterson. So whenever I'm around here,
Chico Peterson, everybody.
Chico Peterson. If the police get behind me and all that, they talking about Trump gonna give them immunity. Well, listen, when I am in Ohio, I'm a Peterson. So I'm not worried about nothing. Those 3 white men are my family out there.
I saw them. Their eyes followed me.
Their eyes followed me the whole way. They was shocked. This is not a segregated building. I'll tell you that much right now. They are welcoming down here in Ohio.
Oh, man. Chico, thank you so much. Congratulations on all the success. Have a great show tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I hope to talk to you down the road.
Oh, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me, man.